In less than 24 hours, speedrunners have already managed to beat the new Five Nights at Freddy's Secret of the Mimic in under 4 minutes. Let's check it out. So it was nearly 4 years ago when Steelwool Studios released FNAF Security Breach, and it was a little broken on release, with any percent speedruns dipping under 3 minutes in the first few weeks. And I honestly can't tell if I'm surprised or not that something like this has happened again. So once starting the intro cutscene, we're introduced to our protagonist for this game, Arnold. And this guy works way too much and has to enter Murray's Costume Manor to retrieve some property for Fazbear Entertainment. Now, time for the speedrun starts as soon as we gain control of Arnold, and in our Fazbear mystery machine here, we'll want to quickly grab the Data Diver device, which basically acts like a key for the facility here. And since the first door is closed and boarded up, we have to get a bit more creative, so we unlatch this gate on the side, which opens up this yard of outdoor furniture and stuff. Now, it may seem like a maze, but it's actually quite linear, as the only path you can take here is on the right side. And then after crouching under the scaffolding and then climbing up and around here, we can drop back down, crawl under this gate opening to then finally get to the main entrance of Murray's Costume Manor. Now here, we unfortunately have to sit through like 30 seconds of Edwin, the owner of the facility, yapping, so all we can do is just appreciate this lovely artwork of this bee fella. After that's done, the next door opens to reveal the animatronic welcome show, where Mr. Helpful and a bunch of the Murray's Costume cast perform a musical intro to the facility, reminiscent of some old Disneyland rides. Now this goes on for nearly 90 seconds and is again unskippable, but with the power of video editing, we'll get right to the end of it where these stairs pop out for us to proceed. But yeah, spoiler alerts, like over 50% of the speedrun is spent on these two unskippable parts. Anyways, after climbing up the stairs here, we can get to this crank and rotate it a few times to move Rocktopus out of the way, which opens up a path to this door, which is locked, but we can use our handy dandy data diver to unlock it. And then, once through, we just have to make our way through this backroom storage area, and we keep on running until we get to where this Hedgehog Hudgy costume is, and then we'll want to go to the locker beside it and hop on in. And I guess the devs never accounted for someone walking right back into the locker after leaving it, as if you do and then slightly move forward and crouch at just the right time, despite not being able to jump in this game, you'll actually get propelled on top of the locker. Once on top of the locker, you can move to the left a bit, which will cause the map to deload, and then after falling for less than a second and seeing another map chunk load in the distance, you'll want to start pause buffering the game, which if you're new to these videos, basically by pausing and unpausing the game, you can get it to load in parts of the map where your character is currently in. And after doing this about 2 or 3 times, you've basically performed a Faz miracle, as you now actually end up basically at the end of the game, where the facility is on fire and crumbling apart. Now, the timing of the pause buffering is actually really important, as if the game reloads too early, you'll just remain in the same room. And if you pause buffer too late, you'll miss the spot to load back inbounds, and you'll end up falling in the void, which will require you to quit and reload the previous save. But anyways, if you do get the timing right, if these large arrows didn't make it obvious, we go to this overhead door, where we have to wait a bit for it to open. And then after running up the stairs, as soon as you see this autosave swirl thing pop up, you'll want to pause, but this time not to pause buffer, but rather do some checkpoint abuse by going back to the main menu and then reloading the previous save. And this part has to be done, otherwise the door you need to get to doesn't open properly, and if you approach it, you'll just like deload the entire map, and yeah, not good. And after loading back into the game, we make our way around this merry-go-round, get to this room here, and thankfully the door is open and we can book it to our van to avoid getting bamboozled by these little animatronic fellas that are closing in on us. And as soon as the screen cuts to black, that is time for this speedrun. So yeah, by doing this little trick, we skipped over everything. No Jackie, Nurse Dolly, Big Top, or even the Mimic itself. And honestly, with how this game is structured, I'm kinda surprised that the game can be beaten this quick. I certainly had my doubts. I don't know how speedruns for this are going to work. The game is so disconnected all over the place, so I don't know if they're going to be... I don't think they're going to be nearly as fast as Security Breach was, but I guess we'll see. Anyways, this game is so new that the official leaderboard isn't even taking submissions yet, but as of the making of this video, unofficially I guess until it gets verified, the pending world record is held by the GOAT AJ, with a load removed time of just 3 minutes and 41 seconds. And yeah, it's only been a day, so at this point I wouldn't even be surprised if the times get lowered closer to the 3-minute mark. Anyways, that is speedrunning FNAF Secret of the Mimic, a quick video, but I hope you enjoyed. If you did, check out some of my other speedrun videos, and be sure to subscribe to the channel to find your way back here in the future. And as always, thank you all so much for running with us today, and I will see you in a bit.